The selection of Robert Mueller as special counsel has been met with widespread praise on Capitol Hill. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer tweeted that Mueller is, quote, the right kind of individual to serve as special counsel. He went on to say that the selection gives him significantly greater confidence that the investigation will follow the facts wherever they lead.
And here's what the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, had to say about Mueller in an interview this morning.
I think he'll be broadly supported. He has impeccable credentials, a storied history, 10 years leading the FBI in both the Bush and the Obama administration. It couldn't be a better choice. He's at the latter part of his career, has nothing to prove. I think he'll do a fabulous job.
All right, let's bring in Caitlin Huey-Burns. She's a CBSN political contributor and a national political reporter for Real Clear Politics, and she joins us now from Washington. So, Caitlin, let's begin with the appointment of Robert Mueller. What's the impact of a special counsel on the Trump administration and the president's agenda moving forward?
Well, a couple of different things to consider here. First, the political nature of this. I was on Capitol Hill yesterday talking to Republicans and Democrats who you could tell that this cloud was very much hanging over them. Republicans, of course, concerned about the way in which the Trump behavior and the ongoing investigations before this would potentially imperil their agenda. Then you had Democrats really looking for special counsel in this case, and they're still also pushing for a separate commission to report to the public. What this does for the Trump administration, though, is this is certainly a problem for them in that the Deputy Attorney General, who was appointed by Donald Trump in a show of independence, appointed Robert Mueller to lead this investigation. So this means this cloud continues to hang over the White House. What it does, though, on Capitol Hill is it does kind of calm some of the tension that was existing over the past 24, 48 hours, given all of these developments. So what I'm watching for as it pertains to members in Congress, particularly the Republican Party, is how they try to get back on script, right? They're very wanting to put forth policy and legislation, and there still is a concern that this hanging over the White House still threatens that.
Yeah, and as I think we've heard, it's been reported anyways, that the White House didn't get much in terms of a heads up that this announcement was coming, maybe about an hour to prepare for it.
Right.
So how do they get back to what they want to be talking about when there's a lot of other stuff going on? The appointment of this special counsel comes as the White House is continuing to battle that drip, drip, drip of information about Michael Flynn. And the New York Times now is reporting another bombshell that the Trump transition team knew in January that he was under federal investigation for lobbying on behalf of Turkey, that he told them, he was upfront about it. These revelations sort of continue to hamper this administration.
They certainly do. And in that particular story, it's important to note, too, that Vice President Mike Pence at the time was head of the transition process. Remember, he took that over from Chris Christie. So reports like that will continue, perhaps, to reveal more about that kind of relationship. But what's really interesting is that yesterday you had the White House put forth a statement from Donald Trump that was very subdued and pretty much on script, right? And then today you have the president returning to Twitter to call this a witch hunt. And now it's really important to remember that Rosenstein, that Deputy Attorney General who appointed this special counsel, was also appointed by Donald Trump. And so this was a show of independence. At the same time, you have the president, calling this a witch hunt, kind of going after that. Again, I think we're going to see more from the president here. Also keep in mind that he is set to take his first foreign trip tomorrow.
Caitlin, I got to ask you about another story that broke in the late evening yesterday. Again, an exclusive report from the Washington Post on a tape that the reporters there listened to the House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy about a month before Donald Trump clinched the nomination, the GOP nomination. There's a recording of Kevin McCarthy with other members of the GOP, including Speaker Paul Ryan, and this is from the Washington Post. Quote, "There's two people I think Putin pays, Rohrabacher and Trump." And then there's House Speaker Paul Ryan, who interjects and stops the conversation and then swears the Republicans that are present there to secrecy. What do you make of that? They've come back and said, initially they told the Washington Post that never happened, and then they say, well, no, that, you know, there was a joke being bandied about, and it's not to be taken seriously. What are you hearing from lawmakers about this?
Right. Well, this is kind of a tricky situation because if you look at the transcript provided, the laughter was included in that transcript, and so you have McCarthy and Rohrabacher saying that this was a joke, and you can kind of imagine kind of how that goes, right? The point, the thing that I'm interested in is who in that group kind of leaked this information, right?
That means there was a recording there, right? There's somebody had to be recording that.
Exactly. So there are questions about, there are lots of people potentially in the party who are not happy with the way that Trump is handling things, perhaps surfacing that's not clear. There's a lot of there's a lot of clarity, I think, that needs to be made here. The overarching point is that this just doesn't look great, right, for Republicans already under this kind of scrutiny.
Lots and lots of stuff to talk about every single day. Caitlin Huey-Burns, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.